Oh yes, this is the teams and opens and closes the bumper show on every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday when Isaac Guys and Red is on the radio. My name is Jala Greyfield. I'm the nation's heavenly J. Remember Jala Greyfield chapter 1 verse 1. Let's talk and talk and talk, and now shall we fight, irrespective of our political differences, our social differences, and all of the differences. We need to forge ahead. These are some of the issues we are looking at today. We place a spotlight on district number 3, where CBC Barshell is as the current representative. There are so many forces coming against him. They want to unseat Ceebee Barshell, but he says no. I'm more grounded in this area than any of you, because you come with promises but I have tangibles. Just the issue with the Joshua and the city and the United Party people. It's the same thing, you know. CBC Barshell is a United Party lawmaker. He said he has more tangibles in the district number 3. And all of those coming against him, the Padre Kumoya, the Kofi Jones, the Smalls, and the rest of them are strangers in the district. And so he says, no, I'm more grounded, I can win them. It just promises versus tangibles. So Ceebee says he has tangibles, and Ceebee Barshell says right here with me right now, it is just like the United Party and the CDC people, where CDC has done more work in Liberia, but the United Party people say they can do better. Who do we give it to now? Ceebee Barshell is that question, because that's your question now. He has the tangibles, he said, but people say he didn't do anything. So who will give it to? Give it to him or give it to the other people? That's a question. Should we give it to the United Party to be president? Joseph Parker to be president, or should we give it to? We'll leave it with George Weah. So if Ceebee Barshell say yes, give it to me, then I think it should be yes to George Weah too. That's how it looks like here. You cannot afford to go away, because the best comes us very soon. The CDC is planning a very big program to say thank you to Mr. President. Oh yes, you can afford to miss the show. Let me pause right here. We want to seek the face of God. That's what we do every time when we are on the bumper show. Ask the guys from Rural Broadcasting Department to pray for the president, pray for the leaders of the country, elected, appointed officials of the government, and all Liberians from the nooks and crannies of this country, just for 1 minute. We go to Sapo land and pray, and the lady who comes to Sapo land is called Shirley Molly. She prays for us in the Sapo vernacular just for 1 minute. Apotro
Nyisoa, Apotro Sibosi, Apotro Bolio. Apotro do como onde foi a nhata do so apotro lo president George Mania apotro de obonyu so klebe apotro lo va president de webu apotro do so we nu bro for chimo ikere nyu kawula klebe iso we apotro lo sene potembo nyiso apotro de afoyata iso nya nu senita ni bebisente puila klebe nyiso apole kana apotro de ata apontro ye bisi anyuka we krepe una no tono nyiso we apontro dembo to so nyu na je ne de ye kwambu unya nu nyiso no ye nu dia bu fo wa mo edi pa joso te ka po mo na ne awu de nu deje ayenu nu anyi nyu nyiso mbe ya ngiri esi ya na ne ye tie ne kuma ne ye ji nu die kadi apontro de fo ebo nyiso awura la ne se wero ke apontro si ani no tono ni ne ya nyini nyagba judo wonya ya ponto da nyini ya nyime bu krebe ha ponto le akrebe ata ani pa ne agbo bo ka se vani wele krebe nyiso anyu krabula o nyiso atala nyina se ha ponto jala je oni na le di o wu ate nyiso a ponto di ota ne fuete na nya unata joso aponto do ase ka ison webu ni so awe o mwandiri do pande we dabu joso apone ka aponto de esi obo aponto do titi bo ti penti yon klebe ni so aponto do yon klabe dabu klebe na EFBC ni ata ni anyo ni anon de ya yo jawu anu Ceebee Barshell inyu anu social media ni klebe joso apone ka aponto ni anu na dede anu kwanje ni so awe aponto ni agbe na ikwanu ne bro na ye jini mo de kadi ti ai be kwambu ebe amoni de anjua ni for class. Amen.
For Christ's sake. Amen. Say praise for the country. Your mark is just there. Just put it on. Ceebee Barshell is here as my guest. You know, let's go to PCK who grants it all.
We at the call. PCK. It's a pleasure. Papa, the timing at the God to go, timing at the guy yoga, the timing at the guy go. Beggar together, I buy it to make up. Beggar together, I buy it to make up for me.
I love to GP.
The songwriter is asking God to protect the leaders of our land. And the leaders include Ceebee Barshell, includes the President of Liberia, His Excellency Gbagugbe, the Vice President, Her Excellency Neswakuko Mayo Joe Howard Taylor, the Speaker Dr. Buffer Chimas, the President Albert Chi, the Chief Justice Shannon Yo, and also the first female Muslim judge, Mamina Jabate Salif.
I love my country.
She's the first female Muslim judge in Liberia.
Especially our leaders.
That's up to you. Let me say welcome to Mrs. Daniel Nyawule to be. She's jetting down in the country very shortly on Friday to marry my friend and brother. He's gonna marry her rather. Now, she's not marrying the guy, but he's marrying her. Daniel Nyawule. Welcome to the Bumper Show on ELBC Radio. That's how we do it here every day on the Bumper Show. On the flip side of 5 o'clock, as I said last week, members of the We Are Intellectual movement will be here. There are intellectuals who have come together to put themselves together and want to propagate the policy of the government. What the government has done and what it is doing and what it intends to do before election. Headed by Bwaka Fofana, Deputy Minister of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. But 3 others will be here. Mr. James Johnson, Minister Dana News Thomas, and another person will be here to talk about what they are doing. Every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, they will be here up to the elections time. But with no support, let me welcome a distinguished brother and a friend, Ceebee Barshell. The name is a tongue twister. Ceebee Barshell. And Mr. Barshell is an entrepreneur. He is a member of the Unity Party. As a matter of fact, he should have been here on Tuesday. And the time he was just leaving from Ganta, coming to Monrovia after they went with Joseph Walker to come back. So he said I said I will give you Wednesday. And I kept my word. But guess what? Ceebee Barshell has been here since 3:30. I didn't know until one of my staffs walked to me and said, "Do you know your guest has been here since 3:30? I said, but it meant to be at 4 o'clock. He said, so I met in the waiting room. And that's one I must applaud you for, Mr. Barshell. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for me. It's a great honor. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm kicking well and kicking very great. I'm just waiting for victory time come.
Victory?
For the Unity Party as well.
Victory for you in District Number 3 and victory for the Unity Party as a whole?
Most obviously, especially my own district is not issue of contestation, but I'm discussing about the presidency, especially Joseph Walker.
But you had discussed yourself first.
Because I won the place before, so it will now be on news for the Liberian people to
So
hear
why do you
about
think that's why I can win it again from you?
Because my record show clearly.
You won an incumbent lawmaker.
Of course.
And you are incumbent who thinks that you cannot win, somebody cannot win you.
Yeah, rest with God, but I can tell you for sure, my district is not an issue of contestation. It's the issue I'm discussing about how I can win. That's why you saw me in Nima and other places, Banga, and going with the next president. That's my duty to do now. But my district, I'll be running lesser campaign in my district. I'll be running
lesser campaign
in my district.
Meaning you have done more work in your district.
Yeah, more work in my district.
The any of your competitors have done.
Of course, yes. And I can assure you that.
So you are relying on tangibles. You have tangibles in the district. The end of the guys who are coming against you. That's why you're talking about.
Yes. All of them combined.
Okay.
With my leadership, development, and tangible, as you describe it, and even two other lawmakers before me, with my own engagements and workings, I can assure you that there's nobody comparable to me. And you look at the ratios analysis, you can see my work across the district, all of the district as well. So I would not be discussing District 3 much more. That's why I'll be going other districts, other places, to make sure that our win is very secure, because that will bring more pride to this country.
Ceebee, let me say thank you. The other time I checked, you have just put up your first graduate from the Barshell University. Am I correct?
Most time when you try to combine politics and education, sometimes I like it to be, dichotomize it. Politics on the one side, education on the one side.
Yeah.
When it mixes up, sometimes you get yourself.
Yeah, but I'm just saying on the public radio, because since the university was established, you have had these students come in. At some point, there were some hula ballows there, and people talk about SYZ. But again, you just graduated a new set of students. That's why I said congratulations to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you so much for that understanding, and thank you for acknowledging that we had a graduation. I'm the chairman of the board.
Okay.
We got other foreign guests coming in, especially for the graduation. I'm the chairman of the board. We had a graduation, but when people seek to politicize education to the understanding of to gain public relevance, then I don't know how to express it, because we were established in 2016, and you add though 2020, 2021, 2019, 2020, we had coronavirus. Our institutions broke down in this country. And so we will not give people a degree at the point where the whole system is broken down. So we have to wait and time coming. Our institutions been infiltrated by political, I would say, people for that matter. And we just try to make it work better. And as I can say to you, we are unfolding, we are moving. We had a graduation, yes. And there are prior graduates all around now. And I can assure you that we come to stay and we'll do much more that we're doing. For the issue of educations, when educations are brought into prominence, and I will continue with educations, especially from the secondary to the tertiary level. And I can assure you that Barshell University will continue doing its best.
Ceebee, we'll talk more about your district, for which I've called you, but we can discuss Ceebee Barshell as a Unity Party candidate, and because I know you have gone through your registration at NEC, you've gotten your certificate. Am I correct? Have you gotten there already now?
Yes, of course, yes.
So you are not certified to be a candidate on the ballots.
Most obviously, yes.
What were you doing in Nimba? You went there with the vice president, former vice president. Yeah. What happened there?
To describe it, words can't actually describe it. And there's no emotions can actually describe. From Kakata, from Magibi, going to Banga, to as far as Nimba, then Weluge, Complete District. What I saw there just allowed me to start celebrating our victory from the Unity Party end. And I can assure you, the Unity Party will not just only win, but they will win big, and they will win big. And we are anticipating now to see how best we can win in the very first round. I can assure you.
On the first ballot?
Yeah, a 50.1.
You're very confident of that?
Yeah, much more confident. And I show that with the strategies we are putting in place, we will win first round. And I can show you very well.
So I ask myself and I ask other people. Then the question comes in, you are making promises to the Liberian people as Unity Party. You were just there in the last few years. 5 years ago, you were in the same political seat. And because you didn't make mark, that's why the CDC won the election and George Weah is president. And what happened in our Liberian people say is development versus promises. And you are the promises, Unity Party. And George Weah is a development. How then do you beat George Weah on the first ballot?
Put your points to the analytical positions, especially when you say we did not do well, and then George here's a
but evidence of the fact that you got defeated at the polls. as an incumbent government, a Unity Party, you're just in power, but you said that, and after 12 years, an opposition won you in election, and that was George Weah. That's what I'm talking about.
You have to do your listeners good and do the best so that we can go to analytical position. 2005.
We shall not give you the time to talk about it.
2005, Unity Party won the same CDC. 2011, we also won. Judging from that perspective, you can see that we are the biggest political institution in this country because in recent history, the Unity Party have 2 wins. And CDC is struggling with their 1 win. And then you can see that for sure because the Liberian people did not win in a way to duplicate or to give the Unity Party a 3rd term. They decided with a sympathetic vote, they give it to
a sympathetic vote, you said?
I consider a sympathetic vote.
With the margin which George Weah won with?
Let's look at the margin. Let's look at the margin. You want us, we want you in one county, you want in all other county, and we still came second with a narrow margin.
Then you say sympathetic.
So imagine if we should win you in 4 counties, which of course will win you in 6 counties today, then of course you can say to yourself.
So you say consider as sympathetic?
Very sympathetic.
14 counties won by CDC.
But let's describe in context what we describe our won. You won in counties narrowly, and we still consider you to win. But the fact that we won you in 1 county, we still came second, and with a narrow win, I can assure you, we not just only win, but only I'm asking you with this public medium, I'm asking you, and to let this government know, let the president know that as much more will be willing in October 10, they should do the right thing. And they must do the right thing to turn over the power to us.
As a matter of fact, the president, His Excellency Ambassador Weah, has stated emphatically before and then, even when he went to the ECOWAS program in Equatorial Guinea, he's committed. Anyone who wins the election, he turns power over to the person. And that's what he has said repeatedly.
And that's why
he has condemned. He has condemned coup leaders in Malay. He condemned coup leaders in Guinea. He has condemned coup leaders in Burkina Faso and other countries around us. So it means he's committed to that. But let me ask you, Mr. Barshell. Now, what do you believe in the party system in Liberia? There's a pattern. Since the Two-Way Party left power in the 80s, they didn't come back. They had over 100 years in power. They didn't come back. Charles came. His was short-circuited because of the war. He didn't end his term. He left. Unity Party came. 12 years he left. So what do you think an incumbent that was defeated by George Weah can come back this time around to win election when George Weah has not even gone to 12 years? Do you believe that? Don't you believe that the scenario in Africa where there's a 2-term for every president can still work in Liberia?
Most obviously, I can assure you that this government, George Weah, will be defeated at the poll, considering not just our history, but considering the history around us. If you went to Ghana, Mahama was defeated by Nana Akufo-Addo. Pharaoh, why he did more, and he was yet defeated. But George Weah did lesser, and to be defeated, I can assure you that he will not just only be defeated, he will be defeated very wide margin. And that's why, because the radio is a public radio, I'm beseeching you to allow him that in the first round, when we had given him 50.1 or more votes, he should do the right thing, the most obvious thing, to give the power to His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai, of course, considering that he will be defeated. And it's very clearly written in the wall. I can assure to you, this government should only be thinking about how to pack off and leave come October 10th. And that's why we are doing all possible, not just to vote, but to protect our vote, to give them no synergy of understanding that something can happen wrongly. And that's why I'm asking you to use this medium for the best of this country, to allow nobody to ever think that come to October 10, 2023 this year, they will do anything most sinister to keep themselves in power when they can win the popular vote. And that's why I'm telling you for sure that this government...
You are moving the elections. I will come to a district which I've called you for, but we cannot go to district number 3 without clearing the house. You go into election, one of your major partners has left you. That is the ALP of Benin, Nigeria. I listened to Henry Costa when you outlined the health condition of your candidate. He said all the other issues, the political shenanigans were there. But what he said, many people see truth in what he said. And what the ALP managed the Unity Party, where can they go? How can you just oppose Mr. Costa's argument about Joseph Boakai's inability to lead Liberia to that of what you just said? What do you think about his conversation, his comment about your party? Just in 2 minutes before I go to your district.
Addressing one personal opinion onto the plight that we have for this country.
A personal opinion, you said?
Addressing one's personal opinions on the plight.
I'm asking a personal opinion. When Costa spoke on behalf of the ALP that have supported you, which Liberians know that they were in your United Party was going to be financed by the ALP of Benin, Nigeria, and put some money in the pockets of United Party people. You say it's a personal opinion. When you're being, there's a party has withdrawn for your your side. You call President Mr. Barshell.
Do justice for your listeners. Our party is a political party. Don't misquotify that to say a party was supporting or sponsoring our political party. We are the biggest political institution in this country. And to say somebody was supporting or sponsoring our party, that would be a misjudgment to make on this public radio. But let me put it in a context for you to understand. Anybody can get sick. And anybody, including me, including you, we can discuss your personal health issue on this radio because it will be nonsensical to do so. Now,
so it was nonsensical on the part of Costa to have done so.
Anybody who have, for that matter, to discuss somebody's personal health issue on the radio, I think it makes no personal logical judgment to me. But let me put it in a context for you to understand. We are, like the standard bearer of our party said, is Joseph Yuma Boakai, that his son, discussing a person who, of course, may be an elder son of Joseph Boakai, I will not be discussing that brother on the radio. But I can say for sure, whatever party leaving us, this time, we're not discussing all the parties that are leaving us. Even CDC people who left CDC, they are also joining us. There are also people who leaving all the political parties now joining us.
People left CDC and they are joining you, he said?
On a daily basis.
What are the people? Who are the, what are their names and what is the strength of those living? You mean people who are occupied?
What you call what the strength? When the person who is 18 years old has a similar strength that you have over 40 years. So don't be asking me
if you said they are living, it should be in mass exodus.
Very mass exodus. They didn't even see the number in They didn't even see the number in
What groups are they? What groups are they?
They are Liberians. And not just Liberians.
Do you know that number?
They have the votes. I'm not discussing who they are. You have the same vote.
It brings more leverage to you as an opposition. Say the political friends of Georgia has left CDC, they have joined us.
I'm telling you, they are Liberian.
But you said telling you. Living, so how do we just suppose that? How do we know that the people who are living, they have faces?
I can be sure to tell you also that you will not vote for George Weah.
I will not vote for George Weah.
You will vote for the Unity Party.
What do you think that way?
Because you know our standing positions, you know what we have done for this country as a party, you know the integrity that comes
Why should I vote
you know this government
for Joseph Walker?
No, that's not my point.
He's squandered opportunities and abused time
because
and placed the lives of the Liberian people and the youth in the dungeon that he's trying to revive it right now.
Go back to the president's statement, several statements of the president. Go back to the finance minister's statement, where he have come to apologize on several fronts, apologizing to the Liberian people. For what? This president of ours, the incoming president, Joseph Walker, he's faithful to tell you that as a government and people, they have made some missteps in the past.
Absolutely.
This government has
nobody's free of making fraud.
You see, that's why I don't want you to use this at this.
There was consistent budget short for only administration.
You see, that's why.
And you came to apologize.
Now we're discussing at the capital building. We're discussing going back to the budget and then discussing the budget, recasting the budget. We have had recasting the budget several times, and that budget has been more demonic than any other government in the history of this country.
And what if being demonic has been passed by you, the lawmakers?
So what do you say to yourself when we pass it? It's demonic. It doesn't reflect.
It's demonic, but you pass it and you say benefited from the same demonic.
When you use the word benefit, are paying taxes. So don't want to stay from one context.
So when the Liberian people say that the legislature is the most corrupt branch of the government, and what do you say?
I'm not discussing people's opinion. I'm discussing facts. I'm an educator. When I'm discussing facts,
the fact is that they say
show me the facts.
The fact believe that they say have the fact that you believe that you Barshell.
No,
you claim that, you Barshell. I'm speaking of the entire legislature.
Yeah.
That you make 4,000 foreign ladders.
No, I make 5,300.
Yeah. But you're making 15,000. You have put those monies into other programs under the legislature.
Discuss the fact. You are a journalist. And when you discussing on the public radio, now listen, you say I'm making 4,005. I said to you, I'm making 5,300. And then beside 5,300,
others have come from there and said they made 4,005.
No, I mean I'm discussing myself what I receive from government.
Okay.
And besides that, there's no time the any lawmaker, especially at the representative position that I'm aware of, have made 5,003, except CDC lawmakers may be having something that which of course I can comment about. But what I can say to you, this government is more deceptive to the Liberian people. This government has lost its pathway to lead. This government is so corrupt to the point this government cannot bring itself.
You mean corrupt?
They're not only just corrupt, they have no value system.
Then why do you speak of your Unity Party where Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf took responsibility of the insolvency of NOCA? NOCA booked that $80 million disappeared from NOCA. She said, we took responsibility. When she said we, it means Joseph Walker was a part of that regime.
Let the citizen government show me the other report.
No. But
I'm discussing on business affairs.
You've been disingenuous in this conversation.
For the fact I'm disingenuous, you're speaking on the basis.
Saying this,
go.
I will give the time, Barshell. I'll go to the time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Barshell, you were here as a citizen, as a Unity Party lawmaker. When Madam Sirleaf said, when the audit that took place at NOCA, and when Ben Roy got broken down, she said, I take responsibility of the breaking down NOCA because my son was there. Isn't it a fact that we know that NOCA got broken down as a result of corruption where 80 million disappeared? Don't you know that?
So you want me to cross-lay positions, CDC's positions in corruption?
You talking about corruption? No. I want to comment on what I just asked you.
So which
you can proceed. You can
CDC
specifics, Mr. Barshell.
What's your point?
On the CDC side, which I'll let you go.
So the fact that you're telling me in past government, our own Unity Party government, you are telling me because there was a corruption here, so CDC had the leverage to take 16.
It means that you are not credible to speak on this matter.
So who should speak?
It should be your adversary in the opposition like the ANC. Now
you've been disingenuous to the fact that I'm a Liberian person. I'm telling this government is corrupt and has no moral to lead and to continue leading. You're saying because somebody did it in the past, so this government shouldn't. And so
then do you have this? The Bible said, take the speck from your eye before you speak of the speck in the other person's eye.
In this context of corruption, that people are being denied going to education, having health care. So what your points are? The citizen government has the opportunity to checkmate this government, to others this government, others the past government of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and the Unity Party, and bring the facts to us and say, well, these people need to go to broke. Then of course you're speaking on the basic of a line that I should follow. So I'm not saying to you,
Barshell, I'll invite this another day.
Okay, thank you.
We'll talk all along about the intricacies and the other issues about
Okay.
Unity Party.
Okay.
But you will not be disingenuous in the conversation by not hearing what the guy from Chevron said when he appeared before the legislature. That Chevron gave $10 million to the Unity Party, to Ellen Johnson and Joseph Boakai for budgetary support.
So they can give
the
money to
country.
Vice President?
No.
I mean, what?
No, there isn't.
But
Can you wait? Can you wait?
don't misinform
When
the
I
people.
said Joseph Boakai and Ellen Johnson, I mean they're leaders of the country. Chevron,
Yeah.
an oil company that was here,
Yeah.
trying to do prospect of our oil shows in the
Yeah.
country.
Okay.
The manager appeared. Your colleague, who is Hassan Kezulu, was with the PAC at the legislature when this guy appeared and said, "We give $10 million to Ellen Johnson's and the government for budgetary support," but she said to us, "We should give the money to Hassan Robert Salif."
So you want me to
And that
understand?
money did not go to budgetary support; it went into the personal account of Ellen and the Joseph Boakai people. What do you say about that? Finally, before we go
Very
to
good.
this.
So you want me to believe that this government, Joshua, His Excellency, could now with the past government and to take that 10 million? Is that what you want to say? Because
I
they have the ability to.
don't understand what you're saying.
Because they have audited them. They were brought into book. And if that's the case, because you're speaking from speculation, which of course I have no facts for you. Of course, you are speaking from the fact that I can relate as much more because I was not in government, and this government has the opportunity to, of course, audit, not just audit, bring whoever to justice. Now you're telling me because those things happen, so now this citizen who have had 16 billion, can I account for everything?
You say you don't have ears at the time.
I do.
You didn't listen to
Because
you didn't hear them.
I'm saying you are telling me, of course, that this government could not with the past government. Is that what you're
That's
telling
not what
me?
I'm saying to you.
But that's what
you
you're trying to insinuate. Because if you had a chance to checkmate, to bring them to book, trust me, I'm administrative.
I'm speaking of executive dominance in the legislature.
When you said dominance, you're talking about
Because the
corruption
executive
to the higher level. Yes, the government,
the
that
legislature.
the inside of the same citizen government said this government have received several of money that cannot account to the Liberian people. You're not discussing that. We're discussing something that before you and I, which of course I don't have the ability to audit. See what our own president, incoming president, have said. His Excellency Joseph Boakai is discussing that. Of course, everybody in the corruption web don't think you'll go free.
Okay, we'll go to the substantive issues another
Thank you so
time.
much.
But John Molu said the man you have just named as your senior fundraiser for your campaign, John Molu.
Yeah.
He rendered and he said to all the Liberian people in this country that the Unity Party-led government headed by Ellen Johnson and Joseph Boakai, the government is 3 times corrupt more than the Judy Bryan government before he took office before he took office after being appointed. He said the government of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, that encompasses Joseph Boakai, the government is 3 times corrupt more than the Judy Bryan government that they took over from, which is a fact that everybody knows. And one thing he said when he took and gave his thank you note to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf after he was let go, he said all the reports are constitutional documents. They cannot get rotten. They are on the shelves. The time will come, we'll look at them. Barshell, how is the district?
When you bring things to the public glare, allow it to be counter to the fact that to give the right.
But did he hear that from John
I did.
That your government on Joseph Boakai
and that's why
was 3 times corrupt than Judy Bryan, the interim government.
You see, that's why to juxtapose that fact, to bring that fact to conclusions, and to understand the Liberian people, that is why this government had the opportunity. They are probably down here wanting with the ghost. And with the people you think in your mind that you say for a fight that they may have been corrupt. And this government cannot, in its own way, power. You have the former LACC boss that you took him from there, you conscripted him from his post. Only on the basic, he was speaking against corruption. So if you think in your mind this government is free from the fact that they can handle corruption very well, they will have been doing the right thing and the best thing. And that's why I consider the government a very demonic government, a very much deceptive government.
Demonic.
This government is very demonic to the Liberian people. This government who will tell the people say that they will not be spectator, and now they are no more on the field. This government that will never promote Liberian businesses. This government that will give foreigners all the best and leaving Liberian people all. Today, we are not just spectator in our own country. Okay. We are not just part of our country. in the decision making in our country. So how can you allow this government? Why would somebody vote for this government considering 25 million, 16 billion extra judicial
16 billion about what?
Oh, you didn't know about the 16 billion? Probably without in this country.
But Barshell, then your conversation now is very hilarious. Because if you are a lawmaker, a man who listen to public radio, and you were part of this process when there was a public audit done by an American firm.
What did they say?
That accelerated the citizen government or not bringing extra money of 16 billion.
They start
Will you not hear Barshell?
Start deceiving the people. The 16 billion. Go and see the court report.
But I'm referring to the court report.
You see, you're misinforming the people.
We'll
Go back to
that.
the report.
How is it this?
Go back to the.
We'll find out for that one.
I think my district is cool and calm.
And I hope that the Deputy Information Minister Jalawa Tompo or Baga Fufana will call in later to ask something. Let's have a district, Mr. Barshell.
The district is cool and calm, except that I don't know who is now running against me or wanting to run against me because we're waiting for the 14 when NEC would announce who is coming against. But I have seen for the short while, the district has done me a great favor.
Okay.
To bring people in to, award me or to give me a re-elections. And I'm looking forward to October 10 where I'll be re-elected come one May by the grace of God. And I can assure you that we will be extending that victory to the October 10 elections. And this government will be celebrating its own past and be regretting why they didn't do the best thing for the Liberian people, especially with the kind of demonic budget they're always passing, the kind of decisions they always make against this country. So we will be celebrating in October 10 the victory that for our district and His Excellency Joseph Yumubwaka and Jeremiah Kwan as well.
Mr. Barshell, people have accused you of not doing much in the district. Your hair marks are not visible about what they said. You have not. You impressed them with yellow machines that you have done roles in the district, and those roles were not done. You asked and say you do XY, so you have not done so. That's why the likes of Patrick Kumayan, the likes of Kofi Jones, the likes of Smo, and the likes, many of them are coming against you. And the thing, you cannot be there as a representative. What have you done in recent years? In the last 5 years, can you talk about your tangibles you've done, Mr. Barshell? I want to sit for at least 5 minutes, and you catalog those developments, please. Let me say that. I want to interrupt you on it. There's a time to make interjections. I will sit by Mr. Barshell for 5 minutes. Talk about that.
You sit in a seat where you are a witness that one of my yellow machines went at your community, your home road.
And which home road is that?
Your house road.
What house road?
In the popular area, and you saw the machine working all over.
My road, I cannot pass my road this time. I pass through Jacotown.
You're discussing this time. I'm discussing.
Before then, I've been said 2017. I'm not seeing one yellow machine on the road.
I'm speaking in context to what your question is. I'm speaking in context of what your question is. Mm-hmm. I brought in over 3 yellow machines, and I'm not here to discuss yellow machine. I have passed yellow machine.
Okay.
My contribution to that district 3, Montserrado County, and this country surpasses 4 other presidents before me that have come.
Wow.
Starting from Samuel Doe.
Okay.
Now I'm discussing tertiary institutions, educating Liberian people to do those things that I'm able to do. Mm-hmm. I'm a higher contributor to education in the district and all of the district. Now, I'm higher contributor to educations in other schools across the district and in the district across the district. I carry yellow machines all around, and you are aware, I carry with schools, bridges all across. There's nobody in that district. 2 lawmakers before me cannot count. And even like I said, 4 presidents before me, starting from Samuel Doe, cannot compare their achievement with what I have done in the district.
That's what I say. You catalog the developments you've done.
When you talk about it, comes to education, I'm the higher contributor to education. When it comes to social work, I'm a higher contributor. When it comes to development infrastructure in the district, I'm a higher contributor. When it comes to leadership and promoting youth empowerment in the district, I'm one of the higher contributors to that. When it comes to propagating the message of nonviolence, I'm the higher contributor. When it comes to, I would say, to relational development, especially church growth and the Muslim Council, uniting them, I'm the higher contributor to that. Normally, egotistically, I would not like to describe myself who I am, what I am, especially when it comes to doing work, because I left from the classroom and then I was brought to public service, especially for the working I have done. And I continue to do in the district and out of the district. So when you look at my work in the district, you can see it vividly. When you go into other district, let's say community in the district, I'm the higher contributor to that. When it comes to contributing to cash donation, I'm the higher contributor to that. When it comes to electrifications, especially so, I'm the higher contributor to that. When it comes to bridges across the district, I'm the higher market buildings, I'm the higher contributor to that. So there's nobody in that district. And when it comes to leadership as well, I'm the higher contributor to leadership in the district because my leadership move around to churches, to mosques, to schools, and to community working. As I'll be leaving from here, I'll be going to another community, to I think Bala community, to be discussing community issues and all the working. So when you look at my tangible, in the district and out of the district, when you go to the single Rotor Town, you will see schools there that I'm working with, and schools we go to District 4. I mean, across the country, I can name the place.
So you live here district, going to other districts?
Because it's my country and not just my district. I'm not bound by district. District is so small for my concentration because I think in my lifetime I try to contribute to society, contribute to my country, because I feel that that's the best way to do. And that's why every other time I go to classes in at this time, other schools, to teach other schools and help other schools, help other teachers. And not just that, with my contribution in the education system, considering my level of education that I have brought in, I run my own educational system that is called the Barshell Left Plus system. Allow kids in the first grade to write like children in the 5th grade, children in the 3rd grade to write the children in the 12th grade. I mean, and they read extensively. That is the Barshell teaching system. Where I have teacher and student writing the same way. So so when you discussing Barshell, you have to discuss him holistically, not on the basic of car roll or yellow machine. I have passed yellow machine. I'm discussing nation building. I'm discussing something much more than just yellow machines.
I heard you talking about the Bala community. When last were you in the Bala community? Do you know that the road from the Bala community, which has to do with around Achaka Junction going inside, that road is not pliable now. No vehicle goes on that road because it has been closed. The motorists, only motorcycle go there because no yellow machine has been there for long.
That's the reason why we will have to unseat this government, because this government is a partisan
You
government.
promised the people and said, if you elect me, I'll do roads for you.
No, don't.
Those were your promises, Mr.
Don't.
That's why you brought the machines.
No,
but that's why you brought the machines.
but the machines have been working, and the machine.
So why since 5 years you're not beyond that Bala Creek Road?
No, listen. Don't help
Yeah,
your
because
listener. Don't
I'm
limit
saying
me
it
to
because
roads building.
I'm putting it in my shoe because I'm a resident of the area.
See, listen to yourself. As a lawmaker, the charge is popular work. This government is irresponsible to do the things that the people want. This government has no vision.
So then, do your people say that Barshell is irresponsible too because he said to you,
I pay my taxes, and the people are paying the taxes.
Benefits. So
I didn't listen.
The benefits to them. So then you are irresponsible too. That we say that.
You see, I want you to understand. When I say understand, don't limit me to road building. Don't limit
but
me.
It's cutting up to the people
because that's a government initiative to do. Look at Cocoa Factory Road. That's the government. The government has not done a single road in my district.
So when you are there,
because
you
of
said
party politics.
Giving power, I will build
No,
roads for
listen,
you. So you are reneged on the social promises you made to the people.
No, listen, I did not make promise to people. I've been building roads. I building roads. I speak up to you. I'm building roads.
What are the principles you're running on now, Barshell?
What is the principles?
Yes. What are you running
I'm
on
a
now?
nation builder. I'm not. You're limiting me to road, and I talk about
the road is just one of the issues.
I'm discussing what I'm empowering young people that will take over this country, that will make sure that this country have a better system, a better vision, a better thing. You're discussing me. Don't limit me to the particular.
I will not limit you again.
Yeah, so good. Thank you. So I'm discussing this country, how we can visualize this country, how we can move in this country. There are people looking for hope, and this government is unable to give them hope. They fail to give the people hope in their own country. The education system is broken down. The healthcare system is broken down. Agriculture is broken down. We can't rely on this government on
How
anything.
did you build it when you were there as in the party government in the past? When your Senate Baron Joseph Boakai, who comes from Lofa considered to be a bread basket of Liberia. He started $30 million investment for agriculture book down in Lofa on the Winnell McIntosh, who accused him of taking 100,000 bribe for him.
You see,
for the sustenance of that program.
When you speak on the public radio about
No, I'm not.
public
No.
don't you must speak on the basis
I'll speak because it is written, and there was no counter reaction from you.
On 100,000. How will he be limiting Joseph Walker, His Excellency, with 100,000?
But he said, he's living on loan now. He doesn't have money. He's living on loan.
Yeah,
so he said he lives on loan now. It means that he did something that we're not.
He will not corrupt for the Liberian people. I must say living on loan. And if I live on here, I'll be going
so
to loan.
Then those who are in listening to us and know that he may have taken some money from the other program.
Show the proof. Show the facts. You see, when you are a journalist,
you speak on facts. The man who said he's a living human being.
Yeah, let him show the facts.
He can say that.
Let him give the facts. Because
Nathaniel Brahma, who comes from Lino, who was the Senate Bureau of Lino in the last elections, even intimated those things to us and said, Joseph Boakai, he never commented to that after he made the allegations against Joseph Boakai.
You see, those people are, if I ever made that statement, they are pay agents of the CDC. They are agents. The
man who are making those claims was running against the CDC as a presidential candidate.
They were making a pay agent of the CDC. Because why? He's been taken to sidetrack the people, especially to take them off the track. And that's why. Because if you look at somebody, the man of integrity, Joseph Boakai, look to where he lives now. He lived in a house since over 40 years. And probably at the time, over 43 years ago, you were just crawling as a baby. He lived in a single house.
Maybe he doesn't want to metamorphosize.
Because he will not corrupt from government. He will not build for himself what the Liberian people did not give him. He will not build multiple mansions for himself. He will not take Liberian people money on the basic because it's available to him. Now, look at the kind of president. You have 5 presidents in this country who, of course...
A vice president who cannot put lights on the post for the people in rehab.
Because you see, you're limiting him to lights. Limiting him to the basic giving hope.
If the people who live around cannot feel impact as a vice president, why then do they keep it in power?
Then giving the budget, giving the country.
The next term is to be president.
That's why the Liberian people were giving the country come to attend and see what he would do for the Liberian people.
Ceebee,
you don't need to be a vice president because it's a ceremonial position.
Ceebee, Barshell.
Yeah, go ahead.
We have 5 more minutes, but I'd send 10 minutes to you to listen to the people of Liberia, the colors from your district, and the colors of Liberia.
Okay.
I will talk to the guys from the We Are Intellectual movement to wait for me. I will take about 15 minutes past the hour. I want an interaction. Call me on 080-514-096. 080-680-0770560-560. Sorry. 080-514-096 is the number. 0770560-560 is another number. You can call me on those numbers. We can have a conversation. Let me take the first caller from this line. This one coming. Hello, welcome. You live. Let's hear you. Hello, please go ahead. You have 10 seconds to make your conversation here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jala. James calling from the Kukuraru Banga.
Go ahead. Let's hear you, my brother.
Yes, I mean, listening to Barshell, it makes me it's a complete disappointment. All the questions you asking, you can't answer it. These are the people that they say they are about to rescue. Are you kidding me? People that they are the main jokers. They will not give them a bill.
Thank you, sir. The next caller, welcome. How are you? No. I will cut you off if you just keep that line on like that.
Hello, Mr. Gravy, you are still law. You want to go to Fatane district.
Sunday, how are some people?
No, okay,
let's hear you.
Raise my concern of Honorable Barshell's decision of saying all those things because he's seeing the reality and he has not responded to it.
Yeah, go ahead now, my man. What happened with your line? Oh, he gone off. Sorry for that. Let me take the next caller here. Hello, welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name? Where do you call from?
Thank you, John Griffin. My name is Boy Kukwe, and I call you from Morrison resident.
Boy Kukwe, man, one-time student. How are you? I'm a student for the Peter Kukwe School of Journalism. Boy, you have 10 seconds. Make a comment quickly.
Thank you. I want to speak to a few points that they feel lawmakers in Nigeria.
Yeah, you admit that. I will give 15 seconds to do that quickly.
Barshell said, because of politics, the city government have not played a single role in this district. But he failed to name the Puebla to Johnsonville Road that he's benefiting from today. That's just one. Barshell is talking about the government being corrupt. But Barshell took 15,000 during the COVID-19 from the federal government, the national budget, 15,000 first, 15,000 second, amount to 30,000.
30,000.
30,000.
For community engagement.
For community, Barshell used that money to renovate his school campus. According to him, he used it to renovate a lot that he gave a community report to.
That's what he said.
But today he said, asking he's there making a statement. Asking to confirm that, brother. But today he says there and say to you.
Okay. Thank you. We can go further than that. No. We can go further than that. No time. Sorry for that. Okay. No, I can't. I have 15 seconds. You can't go that way. Hello, welcome. You live. You're on the bumper show. Yes. T. Vanny. This is the Montreal Barshell. This is right.
Yeah.
Let me hear you in 15 seconds. Let me hear you.
Ceebee Barshell, that man is a scare.
He said what?
Nothing could have done in Ceebee. I say it's a scare. To kill food the people. He said nothing is just touchable in Ceebee. Even the Barshell community is going today. Let's look at small mobile. The children are starting. Let's look at the bridge.
Small mobile is aspiring the district?
Yeah, small mobile is aspiring the district. Look at the bridge. The Barshell community like them. Ceebee Barshell took over. That district, I don't nothing for the district.
Okay. Thank you. We can go more than that. Thank you, Mr. T. Vanny. Let me go to the next line. 080-514-096. Let me talk to the caller. Hello, welcome. You have 15 seconds. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Morris. I'm calling from your community.
Let's hear you, Morris.
Yeah, brother, thank you for the show. You know, brother, let me honor to one another in the country. Asking the other woman, now of great question, like, are we the friend? Another person well at it. When you judge the question, we ask it, you join the CDC, then ask me this, $60 million, they won't get all the question asking you, not answering me. To show that, when they step out, I think you'll be doing the all tomorrow, but anything I mean, you don't all activity on the phone, you don't want to
Barshell laugh you. Barshell laugh at you. Barshell just laugh. I just laugh. Let's call her. Welcome. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What is your name?
This is Cindy Bono calling from district number 3, Barshell Mission of the.
Okay, you are around Barshell School over there. Let's hear you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Ceebee Barshell is a very good representative.
Okay.
In terms of representation, the reason here is in still there. As a journalist, you are not doing right to the Liberian people. Because the first thing here is when you
hello.
Yeah.
You better go to the issue now and don't say that to me again because you don't want. I'm playing a role as a devil's advocate here. Don't tell me sir what I'm doing. You don't want to discuss that in the first place. And you continue with the cutting off. Just go to the issue and discover what you want to talk about Barshell. No, Mr. Sober, Mr. Grayfield.
Yeah, there's a Grayfield.
You've been very disingenuous in this conversation.
There's a Grayfield.
You know my ethics of journalism. Tell me, I don't know what I'm doing here.
No, listen now.
Go to the issue and talk about it. Your 15 minutes are just okay. Another 15 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Mr. Barshell been doing very well in the district, especially when it comes to rural connectivity. Rural connectivity is not representing capital issue, especially when it comes to contribution to the district. He brought Yellow Machine. Yellow Machine, he contributed to the Liberian government.
Where are the machines? Where are the machines? Where are the machines, sir?
The people of district number 3, they are in the know of where the machine is. And you yourself, if you live in district number 3, you will know that the district is there and what is it? Going around with that identical machine, creating one rule for another. And
okay. I just see the timer tells you that your time is not 2 minutes 18 seconds. So thank you for the time. You made a conversation already. Let me do the next caller. Hello, welcome. The next caller.
Yeah, this is Maj Balisula in a call from Zwedu City.
Zwedu is Zulu Whiskey. Grand General County, welcome to Monrovia.
Thank you. Let me say thank you to Honorable Barshell for the solid deliberation. But I want to tell you that Honorable Barshell is in the studio there. When he talked about the CDC government being corrupt, when you engage him with questions, he tried to have the fact. He asked you,
my man, go ahead, man. Oh, you go over. Okay, the next caller is here. Hello, welcome. Let me hear you.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, what's the name in 15 seconds for you? We were trying to ration the time between the Unity Party and the CDC people.
My name is Tizo Ko. I'm calling you from Red Light.
Okay, let's hear from Red Light.
Yeah, I love this discussion. I just want to ask the studio guest.
Mm-hmm.
The studio guest talking about corruption. I want to find out from you why that the CDC government get the football Labrador up for 25 years. And I want to
Oh,
find
you mean
out
to they put the car, how you call it, post the put from London?
Yeah, how you call the company that
ATM terminus.
Yes, and I want to find out from him why that the CDC government use $4 million to break former defense ministry down. And also, I want to know why that the CDC government to family hotel to not pay tax for
Thank you. Those are comments, but you said two things which I want to agree with you. But the things one has to do with the Ministry of Defense that was broken down by the United-led government. It was in the supreme interest of the country. That's why we benefit in the ministerial complex now. Thank you for that. And I will not. I'm a realist. I will say this. I will say that. We are benefiting the ministerial complex. It was named after Ellen Johnson said about the president. Ellen Johnson said the ministerial complex. We benefited from that. But when it comes to ATM terminal and the tax waiver to Farmington Hotel was done by the Senior Party people. Let's go to the next caller. Welcome. Hello, welcome. You do reduce our monitor. I'll call you over.
How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, go ahead. You can be talking to me how that monitor on Lara.
Sorry. I'm monitoring you. My name is Stephen. We are calling you for your district to be specific.
You're calling from Foya Lofa County. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Lofa County. And I'm monitoring your program, and I want to tell the representative Barshell that whatsoever the best doing under the led government and the Unity Party, they have done their best, but this is one of the government that we need to be appreciative too. Barshell should be one of those that be grateful to this government. We are making sure that the president of the Republic of Liberia, even to his own district number 3, Montserrado, that this government is doing extremely well.
Thank you, Mr. Wama from Foya District. I can carry more than that. You 145 seconds. 080514096 086680373 are the two numbers to call. Let me go to this line. Hello, welcome. You live. You're on the bumper show. Let's hear you.
Chala?
Yes, sir.
This is Pascal Davis.
Pascal Davis, you have just 15 seconds to make a case.
Yeah, it's sufficient. It is very sad when I listen to people who have helped to kill this country. Even the baby who is crying understands and knows that the legislature, including Mr. Barshell, are the problem of this country. I want you to ask him why he said that they all agreed to even take 30,000 times 2. I mean, they can't justify that it was in the budget. But pretty much he understands that there is no way in the country lawmakers supposed to honor the project.
Thank you. The next caller, and Mr. Barshell answered the question why he told 30,000 times 2 for legislative engagement. The next caller, welcome.
I'm calling from Pinsville.
Pinsville, welcome. Let's say you from where? Which district is that?
You call the honorable water to embarrassing, to reducing, to nothing. Because nothing, the representative water that even make any sense. So you just call the representative water to embarrassing.
How am I embarrassing the man?
Yeah, because nothing people will come from his talk.
But the man has defended the Unity Party people and said this one, that's why they're going to take the government out of power because the government is corrupt. That's why he man spoke long.
Don't be calling the representative on public radio to embarrass him.
Thank you. You mean
it's sweating on the air condition.
That's what I said. The man feel no sweat, Barshell feel dry. No, yeah, the man on air condition. He's sweating on air condition. 080514096. I have CBC CD Barshell. The name is a tongue twister. I'm my friend and brother. I will take 2 calls and come to Barshell. 080514096. Hello, welcome. You live.
We are Guapo the means remain here. Johnsonville residents registered Grand Judah County.
Johnsonville, let's say you Johnsonville in Grand Judah County, right?
Yeah, I'm calling from Grand Judah County.
Let's say you quickly.
There are no further take this time to employ your student guys on the Barshell. And I want to hotel is it is time I will pick the sheep from the morning goat.
Okay.
One good thing is let me apply on the Barshell for our work for the district number 3.
Mm-hmm.
The means of really imparting knowledge to the young people about this generation is a plus. And the one good thing is the senator
our representative will pick the sheep from the mother. But one good thing is the presidential release to Ambassador George Managuia 2023, and there's no doubt this is clear for him. But one good thing, be representative that we will pick among you, whether it be from ANC.
Okay. Thank you. I can take all the lines are ringing. I can take every one of you. Honorable Barshell is here, and the guys from the We Are Intellectual Movement are here. Barshell, you want to respond to the callers?
Let me say thanks to your callers. I want to comment about the 65 billion just passed. I did not pass it because I felt that the CDC were trying to perpetrate themselves with.
You did not put your signature on it.
Yeah, they were trying to perpetrate themselves with another corrupt.
But do you know there was that fund was intended for development for the country?
No, I think it was not feasible at this time to do, and because I know that it was not the right thing to do, and so I did not vote for that. And they passed it corruptly because considering that if you have a 3-time reading, they didn't do the right thing. One of your callers talk about me receiving money. This government had not given me money for District 3 or whatsoever. Whatever money.
But so you're not part of those who received the 30,000 2 times?
Please listen to the point I'm making.
Okay.
Whatever government give me is for my office.
Okay.
Whatever government give to the district is for the district. So, like one of your callers, I think,
But you received the 30,000 twice for a district, not for you.
No,
Barshell.
One of your callers, I've been running the educational system before I even got to public office. So there was no time. One of your callers there, I think he's just a victim of he's just a victim of the kind of education system we have with a man to just stay on public radio, just make statement. One of your students who you talk about there, he just been other fabrications, especially where because I think he's just victim of the kind of messy school system, and especially when he just mentioned thing that my school has a very equipped lab, even before I became lawmaker. My school has the biggest school in the district. So there's no time we use money for district thing. And besides that, what I want to say, there's no question that you tend to ask me. Every question you ask me about the city's government, I believe that the city's government should be booted out of office because it's a very corrupt government. And this government has no desire to move the Liberian people further. And Joseph Yimon Bwaka will be the next president. JKK will be the next vice president. And I'm looking forward that the Liberian people should rally and remove this government because they have failed the people. And I want to say thanks to my district people again, especially for those who are calling my district. They have done well, and we're looking forward to retaining the district and making sure that the presidency is won by the United Party.
Thank you, Honorable Barshell. Honorable CBC City Barshell, representative of District number 3, has been my guest. Liberia is lifted. This is the song I'm bringing right now as I take a water break to be back.
You will shine, you will prosper in Africa. Yeah, the world. Liberia, sweet land of liberty. We prophesy to you, you will rise, you will shine, you will prosper in Africa. Yeah, the world. Liberia, sweet land of liberty. We prophesy to you, you will rise, you will shine, you will prosper in Africa. Yeah, the world. Liberia, sweet land of liberty. We prophesy to you, you will rise, you will shine, you will prosper in Africa. Yeah, the world. You are lifted, amen, hallelujah. Liberia, you are lifted, amen. We prophesy to you, you are lifted.
This is ERBC Radio 99.5 and all frequencies across Liberia. Now is We Are Intellectual Movement.
Come to your life.
The intellectuals are here. They listen to CBC Barshell. They have their own agenda. They want to make President George Weah the next president of Liberia. They say one round.
We prophesy righteousness in the government. Amen. Hallelujah. We prophesy holiness in the government.
They have climbed these long stairs, so I want them to take breath.
Oh, you are lifted. Amen. Hallelujah. Liberia, you are lifted. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen.
Assistant Minister Daniel Lukes Thomas for Public Affairs at the Ministry of Information, Culture, Affairs and Tourism. He's here along with James Johnson and the distinguished brother Nico Kofa. They're here this afternoon. They will tell us their respective positions in the We Are Intellectual Movement, headed by Deputy Minister Bwaka Fofana. Welcome to the Pumper Show on the ELBC Radio. My name is Jala Grayfield. Remember Jala Grayfield, chapter 1, verse 1. Let's talk and talk and talk, and never shall we fight. Fighting shall never be our portion. Liberia is lifted.
From every angle, and your enemies shall see your lifting. They shall see your rising and bow. Hallelujah. Come on, join me. Let's celebrate Jesus. You are lifted, amen, hallelujah. Liberia, you are lifted, amen, we prophesy to you, you are lifted, amen, hallelujah.
All of those following us right now, welcome to the Bumper Show.
No enemy shall come against you, Liberia, amen.
You are live on the radio. This is ELBC Radio and other frequencies across Liberia. This is a time we have allotted to the We Are Intellectual Movement for the work they do in the country, counteracting people who have disinformation and misinformation about the We Are government. They are intellectuals beyond excellence, borrowing the words of Honorable Dr. Lawrence Coleman Brookler. They will demystify, someone said they will demystify the myth and all of those. So I said to you, they've come to talk about some issues in the country. Daniel Lukes Thomas, welcome. The Assistant Minister, Information Services, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jala, and a great good evening to all of our colleagues that are following us now.
What's your position in this whole organization?
Well, yes, I'm a member. As a matter of fact, we're here to, like what you just said, weaponize the public with the different intellectual properties that are intended to, inform the public on why the president should be re-elected. So I'm a member.
Nico?
Thank you, Jala. This is a privilege to be here for the very first time.
Okay.
And to get actively involved in some of the things that are taking place.
Mr. Williams, Mr. Johnson, sorry, you've been here. I was saying, we had lunch together.
Sure.
Just welcome, my brother.
Yeah, sure. I was like the John Baptist for Daniel and ELBC is always a whole sense of pleasure.
I know.
Yeah.
But let's start. So you are on the microphone. Let's hear from you. There have been all of this, a lot of things happening right now. I want to start with what happened in Nima County. You saw what happened, a trooping our Unity Party into Magibi, into Bon, into Nimba. When you see the Facebook pages of people from the ANC, they're saying that the guys are trooping people there through trucking and SYC, and that Nimba does not belong to them. They want to show a case. Let's talk about the visitation of Unity Party in the 3 counties. Mr. Johnson.
Well, first, let me start by saying the We Are Intellectual Movement, which is a conglomerate of enterprising intellectuals and professionals who've coalesced their intellectual and communication skills to propagate the deliverables and achievements of the We Are-led administration, as well as debunk the myriad of false and mendacities that continue to ooze from the opposition camp. It's grateful for the opportunity to be to utilize this revert platform to communicate with our people. Okay. So starting with the optics of the Nimba, the Magibi Bonga Nimba issue. Of course, first we're in a political electioneering time. So it is not surprising when we see the opposition community making an attempt to show, quote unquote, what seems to be a formidable force. But I like to say, I think it was a disappointing moment for the opposition. in Nimba.
Disappointed movement.
A very disappointing movement.
Okay.
Because if you look at the Unity Party's ticket, where you have Senator Jeremiah Kuhn as the running mate of, Ambassador Boaka coming from Nimba, and of course, Senator Prince Johnson, who happens to be the strongest political ally of, Ambassador Boaka in this election. And you see the numbers of people that, that they pulled out, which we know basically were migrated population from one country to another. We think that it is a disappointment. But however, for us, we aren't concerned about the crowd politics, because if you look at the political historical ancestry of CDC, I mean, when it comes to crowd politics, nobody can beat the CDC to that. But our message to our people is that what happens in Nimba will be the conversation around development. What has the WIA-led administration engendered in terms of developmental package to the Nimbayans? So when the country giant visits Nimba, by the time he steps foot in Nimba, with his lieutenants, the people who have appreciated what this government has done will be the true spontaneous crowd that will respond in appreciation. So for the CDC, we're not moved by the movement of crowds from the opposition community.
You're not moved by the crowd politics?
We're not concerned about the crowd politics, because nobody beats the CDC the crowd politics.
You have put more bigger crowd than this one.
Nobody beats the CDC into that. I mean, that is, an undisputed fact from 2005 up to now. Okay. What we focus on is for us to have the conversation in terms of deliverable. We should be talking about achievement, what we have delivered as compared to what they deliver. That is the conversation we will be taking, So as my other colleagues come, then we begin to look at those issues surrounding the conversation around development.
Let me go to Kofi. Welcome, my dear brother.
Thank you, my brother.
It's good that we have this interaction. We've not had this before.
No.
Let me hear you. The same questions goes to you.
Well, just not to sound redundant, Jensen already put it right. Unity Party tried to prove a point. So they thought to take risk by going to Margibi, Bong, and Nimba to see if they are the choice of the people. Unfortunately, they failed on that, because the very next day they left Margibi. Antonio McGill put a bigger show than they did.
Sure. McGill.
Of course.
Yep.
So what would have happened?
Bigger show than what Unity Party did in
Margibi.
Wow.
So imagine what would have happened if Joe had come outside in Bong County. What would happen is a Roland will come outside in Nimba County. So they have to wait. Like he regularly said, we are not in the crowd politics right now, because.
But you'll be inside later.
Well, later we just
that proves a case.
Of course, later we're going to show
that was significant on February 11 when you gathered at the ATS.
So later,
President Weah.
Later, what you're going to see happening, we're going to be redoing what we always used to do, put up more people. But our focus, like you regularly put it, is to put the message out there on the achievement of the president. Our focus is not putting people aside, but our focus is getting the message out to the people, and the message is very clear. Yesterday I was in the Bannersville, right?
Okay.
And at the Intellectual Forum, FOBEA. So during our discourse, there were two visually impaired colleagues there.
Okay.
One of them was for the opposition, and the other was for CDC. So the guy from the opposition side spoke first.
Okay.
When the CDC guy got up, the guy said, he told his friend, he said, look, you can see, but you can feel development. Can you feel it?
The visually impaired guy said to his friend.
Said, can't you feel it? We can see, but we can feel it. You understand? And he also said, look, President, we have raised our budget from 100,000 plus to over $600,000.
And that's the NCDR, right?
Exactly.
Where's by Miss
I just I'll get a name. I know you talking about.
What's Peebee's daughter? Miss Peebee, yes.
So he was reminding his colleague to remember some of the places they used to pass before where they were falling in water. Now they could walk straight. He was also reminding him that, look, before we were all on the street begging for money, today we're getting more money in our budget than we ever had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daniel Noostamans is Assistant Minister at the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism for Public Affairs. Let me hear, you saw the crowd in Nimba, and one question they asked was that you were saying that the position of George we are in Nimba, but the road we walk on, you drove on to go to Sanokoli, to go beyond, those roads were built by George Weah. But their argument is that we are the ones who raise the funds or negotiated for the funds. Eventually, you are doing the work. How do you counter argue that?
So first thing, let me establish that the crowd that we talk about is basically panoramic. Wow. Panoramic in the sense that there were alterations. So if you are doing a drone shot of the people that were assembled, you kind of realize that it was a jovial crowd as compared to what the CDC, like my colleague said, would have pulled. But there's another part of this.
Okay.
There are two entries: an entry of deception and an entry of multi-participation.
Okay.
So when President George Weah entered the very counties they entered at a point in time, when he was doing a nation tour, he participated, he interacted with the people in a way that he left tangibles that they can become a part of.
Okay.
He took their sons and daughters there, and they came out in a number. In Lofa, when Boaka and his team entered Margibi, Bong, and Nimba, there was a class of deceptors, people who are just niched together because they're against a particular individual, but they are not friends.
Really?
Masquerades.
Really?
Of course.
Not friends, but they met at one equilibrium because they want to target somebody.
But Jala, the same Prince Johnson who said that Boaka was amongst the 9 grateful lepers.
Yeah.
Were the ones who were he was the one trooping Boaka.
Where you get up?
The same
Boaka.
Yeah, I think we'll find we get it. Boaka. The same.
I say my people in the radio department, I please find that voice for me. I please can that voice. That what Prince Johnson say. You say Boaka go against the piggy, the ball. As what? You please can find that for me.
So the metro ball.
The same.
You can find it for me.
The same Boaka who splitted the CPP on the basis of framework, documentation, Yombly, because she could not go back to a Musa ability that they made a chairperson, chose to go to the greater evil of Boakai and Prince Johnson. The coup you talk about who took those people there, it was the coalition of Democratic Change who made him senator, was that Senator Prince Johnson? So these are factors of deception that goes into those counties without any tangible. What are they going to tell the people they've done? The people, look, let me tell you, this is a dispensation of Jala where individuals are now open and educated to the things of realism. All right? The boy who was born in 1990, today he's a man like myself, yeah. You can tell me that Prince Johnson liberated me in the 90s, so because President Weah went to Nima and built roads and rehabilitated structures, built schools, empowered the lives of the people, you follow Prince Johnson? No. So what you saw, the crowd you saw, aside from being panoramic, the people know who they're going to answer to come October 10th. 2023, Jala. So we're not particular about that crowd. We focus on the achievements.
I think my friend and brother wanted to say something in relation to what you're saying. I saw him nodding his head. I'm talking about Kofi.
You know, in 2005, George Weah won Nima in the first round.
Okay. Can George Weah maintain that again?
He's going to maintain it. He's going to maintain that.
What are the factors? What are the indicators?
The reason he's going to maintain that, in 2005, it was his first entry into politics. In 2023, he had reasons to be re-elected in Nima. The road construction in Nima, the school in Ban, the employment of Nima citizens, the peace of the country. There are several reasons why George Weah will be re-elected. But out of the 15 counties, in 2017, there were 14 counties. It's going to be 15 counties this time around because we've captured Lofa already.
Correct.
Thank you.
Lofa is captured.
Of course.
Lofa is captured.
But the boss that Lofa was the only candidate that voted George Weah out. But I'm thinking about the involvement of the Lofians going there now. Is that a father is with a Kofi from that father with the lack of Thomas Fala, the likes of Percy Yeke, the likes of Samara Wolokoli, the likes of Mr. Colley from the Summer Armed Commission, and the other guys. And the lack of Mr. Collet, who comes to the National Port Authority, who are making efforts.
Okay.
Do you think with the coming of these individuals who were playing a backbench role earlier in the last elections, with that involvement now, you can win Lofa bigly?
But Jala, let me just come in before my colleagues because I know we got to give Mr. Johnson the time.
Okay.
The first thing you need to understand is that the dispensation that Boakai won, Lofa County, was a period where the people of Lofa weren't enlightened.
Okay. Now they are enlightened now.
Very well enlightened. You know why?
With the uncle and nephew politics.
You know why?
No.
Vice President Boakai spent 12 years and earned over $38 million. Every year, his budget as a vice president was more than the national health budget for Lofa County. He did not build a single clinic. He did not build a single school. The Lofa Multilateral High School that was damaged since the war, he ignored that. It was President George Weah that came and rehabilitated that school and added a 21st century modern TV center. The issue of electricity in Lofa County, it was exposed by the president. The sons and daughters, Mayor Koji, or Thomas Fowler, or Janga Ko, all the next of the brothers, someone will call it, going back to Lofa County, and these brothers are face of society. It speaks to Lofian that George Weah is not a politician, but he is a kingsman. He makes people.
So they're not going to coming up of the dam that is built in Lofa County.
The mini hydro dam.
When I drove from Vanjama, going to Masambola home, going to Foya, and I saw the guys putting all the long lines, electric wires running down from a private company hired by the government to put lights in the poles on the floor Lofa. How do you see that, Mr. Kofi?
So Boakai have been around for over 42 years in government. The Lofian believed that Boakai would have done something different. So their hope was built on Boakai for over 40 years. He had a chance in 12 years. He did nothing. As a matter of fact, I don't understand why they even claiming Madam Seli's victory or her achievements. Because Boakai said clearly that he was not involved with the achievement of Madam Seli. He said he was a race car parked in a garage for 12 years. Now, if a vehicle is parked for 12 years and been parked for another 6 years or 18 years, that vehicle is rusted, all the bolts are all losing, that vehicle cannot run anymore. So Boakai is incapacitated to run.
I like that.
So Lofian are fully aware that Boakai has no energy to deliver anything good to Lofa.
What about this health factor, the health factor that plays now? When I read Front Page Africa the other time, just about 2 months ago, they were cataloging Mr. Boakai's health. He was kept on the ground because he wants to be in a political fries. That's the reason they said he would not be on a campaign trail. He was sitting in Lofa, drinking his palm wine and hammock while he's swinging it around, and the guys are campaigning. But the intent is to go to America, do a surgery, and has another pacemaker in his arm, and then he goes around. What is a health factor? Because I know very well, in Ghana, for example, the former president, they will report every other time that he's sick. He comes up, people say, no, the man is sick. They are arguing that and counter-arguing that every other time. Just on the eve of election, he passed.
So, Jara,
why does a health factor place in this one, Mr. Johnson?
Why it is true that we from the We Are Intellectual movement are easy to begin discussing the plethora of the president's deliverables, but it's important that we look at some of these meaningful aspects with respect to our national conversation. So before I talk about the issue of, former Vice President Boakai's health, let me pick it back on few of the points, my colleagues articulated with respect to the Lofa political, landscape and dynamics. I think it is an insult to the intelligence of the people of Lofa to think that the people who continue to tread on a trajectory of tradition over a period of modernity where infrastructure development remains the hallmark for the growth of society. And because the people of Lofa are not considered to be thinking in that upward, manner, they demonstrated that in the most recent senatorial by-elections. They sent a sharp message that the people of Lofa are now, the Lofians are now enlightened. They are now emancipated mentally to believing that the way forward, the trajectory they must tread on is the trajectory of development. You talk about the main dam that has been built that will electrify Vonjima and nearby cities. You talk about the road that moves from Bon to Lofa. Okay, so the people of Lofa have appreciated what President Weah has done, and they're going to translate that appreciation into votes in October polls. We are confident that our brothers and sisters from Lofa, aren't so unintelligent to say tradition must prevail over development.
And then they said also, Mr. Johnson, that tradition has been broken ever since.
No, I mean, in fact, they were resounding the message in the gone by-election.
Yes,
Joseph Boakai went to campaign.
And then Joseph Jala won him.
Yeah, in fact, he shamelessly left the country using the route of Sierra Leone. He could not pass the road because it was impossible. So the people say
can that history be repeated in
of course, we are convinced.
We are not in that loaf about Foya because that's the traditional hold of the unity.
Today, when you have a new, you have a new city building headquarters in Vanjima. Okay, where you have pavement of the road moving from Bangal that now cross. Okay, Salaya going beyond. Where you have electricity eminent in Lofa. We are confident that the people will translate, their believability in development over tradition into votes. Not talking about the issue of the former vice president's health. Okay, for us, I mean, I think there's a point belabored because even the former vice president himself has been a monumental testament to how he has, he has been afflicted and conflicted with the issue of incapacity with respect to his health. In a very important interview on Sky FM, he admitted to going through an operation, a surgery, okay, which now presents
that places a pacemaker on his heart.
So the question here is our country so breed-dreamed that we will risk to form much of our country, not only to an octogenarian, but a man who has serious medical stability deficit? Is our country so brain drained? Is that what our friends on the other side are telling us? For example, even in the United States, because of conversations surrounding the current president's health, the recent survey poll done shows that the approval rating of incumbent President Joe Biden has dropped because there are issues about his health as to whether he can
falling in public.
Yes,
of
he can continue. Of course. When we look at the complexities of our issue, for example, we have 12,000 kilometers of road network. Not only 2,000 have been completed. Joseph Boakai, who will be bedridden, handle the issues. When we look at the challenges in our educational sector that require a president who is agile, viable, energized, Joseph Boakai handle it? And the answer is a hypothetical no.
Okay, 3 other issues I want us to delve into them.
Okay,
the issue of health, education, and security on George Weah. Then we can activate the phone lines for the people to call in. I want to start with my brother Nigo, who is right here. Nigo, let's dissect the educational policy of the government. To what extent? And next time I bring it here, I will bring people and speak Kolokwa. Let the woman here in Lofa, here in Bogonjire. We can speak Kolokwa. People are talking about
Chalaba. We can speak Kolokwa. Maybe the night
Joe we are coming. They say, what Joe we are coming out to when it comes to school Bene. They say the school you're doing school been here.
Jara, when Joe Weah came to power, before he came to power, right? I want to start with a small school first. When we go to high school, to pay money for WAEC at that time we were doing a national exam, WAEC. It was not easy. You got to pass around before you get money to pay. Then when he became senator, every time to the national exam, they try to run the job we are offering. Papa won't get money. Papa won't get money. And the bad thing about it, as the children were passing around people, some people were taking advantage of the people's children.
Yeah.
They were sleeping with the people's girls.
Exactly.
Small children were going after them. Chawia said, no, this is not good. The government will pay. So the first thing he did was to pay. So in the last 5 years, he has paid over $20 million to WAEC for the children national exam. Chawia had paid over $20 million. You can imagine that.
And I listened to Boakai Pofana the other day. He said he was talking about the numbers of the people. The people that not benefit from. He said 50,000 people, right? Said Joe Weah became president. Boakai Pofana said that day. So the minister, the minister said that one. I mean, I know it, but he said so. I quote him.
So he said he said it was 63,000.
Oh, personally, right?
It's more than 50,000.
Yeah, education rather.
So you can imagine from 2018, no child in this country has paid 1 cent to the national exam. Not only that, the government say, you know what? Ellen said the team mess up. It's poor.
It's poor, by way.
I can fix it. So we'll open study classes. The government will pay for study classes for children to do extra classes after school. So they'll go there Saturday, the government will pay. So that money the government pay, that extra money the government will pay, it helped to improve the grades that you have today. I've just been told that 97% of our children.
The people that in 6th grade, they put in 9th grade.
Yes.
The plenty that pass the test.
97% of the 9th grader pass the national exam.
What about free tuition at the university too?
I'll come into that.
Okay, please.
I didn't go to university.
I want run Fafa, eh?
Yeah.
Don't run for your town, big
You know the reason why you see small noise on the campus? Because politicians go on that campus, they offer scholarship, they can't pay, so the students were getting where they're getting eating from.
Yeah,
and now what they were using to take advantage of the student and put it in the street. So we are saying, you know what? Let's end that. The market people cannot afford to pay UL fees. So you know what? I will pay. Let the student go to school free. So he paid. Not only that,
he made university free.
Free. Now and now LU all across the country, all the government universities across the country, you see them go to school free.
So my Howard are paying maybe 25 for credit for University of Liberia now. My Howard are selling her little market in Raleigh.
She got to pay nothing. He got to pay nothing. The children go to school free. Not only that, you know when you gotta go to LU to enter the school. You got to get a file grand in the morning to go stand in the line.
Long.
And the line will be long all the way to foreign affairs because of the number of persons going to the school. So I said, in the modern time, we still doing that kind of thing? No. You say that put on computer. So everybody now you can stay to your house, you stay on your phone, you register.
You can be with a Vanjaman. You go visit your Oma, maybe man we know in Kuala there and say I was saying I play my courses.
Exactly. You see that. So all these small changes you see there has helped the young people in this country. And one thing we cannot forget, Jada, the country is 176 years old. And we just doing the thing that we should have done ever since.
We all for long.
We just starting there now.
Nico, thank you for that because I want the man to talk about the issue of health. Then Johnson will talk about security.
Okay.
When I heard them the other day, they were in Nima. Former vice president said, "Oh, they created Zogos." But the last time I checked, when I was a talk show host on OKFM, when I first heard the name of a Zogo was on the radio. By the time Zogos were just around 200, 300. They didn't put in place mechanism to have a facility for these people to have them contained. But who were the one drugging them? Weren't it the same people who brought the war? Wasn't it Madam Celine who sat in America when they had this program called Liberia United for Constitutional Democracy? That was the political arm of the MPF, a rebel group. They brought the war and drug our children. These are the remnant. Mr. Johnson will talk about that. Let's talk about health, Mr. Minister Daniel Thomas. I want to put it simplify as well.
Yeah, okay. So before I do that, I want to correct an issue that you talk about with regards to 50,000. The actual figure is 250,000.
Okay.
Students have benefited since 250,000. Yeah. That was what Waka Fofana said. So with that being said, also there are little additions that we need to make so that people can understand. The president, through the Ministry of Education, for the first time in history of our country, has been able to procure over 50 containers of books for all the private schools across the country, public schools across the country.
I heard you say that the other day.
For the private schools, the government of Liberia has made it a responsibility to produce e-books. So all you have to do is that you just go online, the school administrator go online, you can have the books. Besides that, the University of Liberia has not been rehabilitated since the 1960s. It was only its administration at Fenner campus. Okay, so those are just some of the things I want to talk about. Health, Jala. Health has been one of the major issues in our country, right? Especially from a regional perspective. If you went to the different counties, the issue of healthcare facilities was, percent. All right. I worked in Maryland at a point in time in 2016.
When you talk some big English, you talk some small English.
Okay. So I used to work with an NGO in Maryland County called Partners in Health. And they were
What are you all doing?
So basically, I was in the information technology operation areas, but they are a medical, organization. So guess what? They were the only referral hospital. People who come from all the way River G, they come from Grand Crew, they come from Sano to go there. When this president came, aside from the 2,500 health workers who were to be laid down, that he put that was in the health pool, that he brought back on board and said, these are Liberians, we can't let them down, we'll find the money and pay them. The president decentralized medical facilities across the country. Okay, starting with the rehabilitation of the Joy F. Kennedy Medical Hospital that had no dialysis machine, no DNA machine. So they will have all of those things stationed there. You look at the Emirates, look at the 14 military, you look at the hospitals he's building in Riverside, and you look at the rehabilitation of the hospital in Tottenham that he's placed doctor's quarters, that doctors will no longer come from Monrovia and go and come. These are clear manifestations of a progress in our health environment. But guess what? Liberia was one of the first countries, amongst the first country in Africa that was able to withhold the COVID-19 that was ravaging the world at one time. Why? Because
we were praised for that.
Of course.
Amongst the first, I think 3 or 4, 5 countries.
But Jala, it was because of the move and policies that were put in place by the administration. The president would have said health is not important. I remember Kennedy Clark when the president was breaking ground for the 14 military. Our opposition pundits were saying that the president is going to cause earthquake. Today, the very family members are utilizing the hospital. The Emirates similarly. So this is a clear indication that.
And can I interject, Mr. Minister?
Please do.
When there was Ebola crisis in this country,
you saw it.
2014. Madam Salif as president of this country, Joseph Boaga as vice president. He acquiesced Madam Salif to be riding plane going around the world while people were dying here in abject poverty and dying from Ebola. It was Bernard Yuri who signed the caveat. He said, Madam Salif, you can be traveling with the people dying here. Yeah. You want to come back. But what happened to Mr. Yuri? The press secretary to the president said, Mr. Yuri, that farmer, you must close them all.
But here's the worst one. It was Sir Joseph who left from here during the ravaging Ebola crisis and went to Baka's on fire.
Yes.
To help the people of Foya. Baka was here. I know, but at that level, Baka should be the one taking the lead.
Of course.
But Sir Joseph left here one day. He would have died in the process. You see, this is a clear manifestation of people who want to develop a country contrary to people who want to exploit the country.
Thank you, Mr. Minister.
Thank you very much.
Let me go to Justin. Let's talk about security.
Yeah.
When you listen, they say, oh, the country is bad. The Zogos are moving. The Zogis are moving. The Brosina is a no-go zone after 7 o'clock, which, of course, many people think is true, and many people have been affected by that. And who were the makers of these Zogos? I say believe it. So they saying unity by the people who did not continue from the first time they got evolved. So, about security, where are we as we go to election? Do we don't have security? They say the police people are being trained by the government secretly. Immigration people, they want to put the people outside. At the end of the day, they be beating people and be putting how the truck outside. What is the issue of security? Just talk about it in 2 minutes and we open the line for the next 10 minutes.
Hey, Jala.
Yeah.
The people can laugh. Let's start with the issue of Zogo. As many of the Zogos or the Zogis, when they can call it, right? Most of them is about between 20 and 30 years old. So as when they were born. So most of them were born during the war.
Yeah.
Right? So the first question we will ask, who brought the war here? Right? So we need to ask the question, who brought the war? The man now who Baga say that uno devil you want dance with. That Prince doesn't have brought the war here. That Ellie he felt boss lady. So the first thing we need to ask, what president we are there to help? I mean, if you look at all of the candidates who came down, who left there, their pillow, their comfort not again to disarm, take gun from these people there. That George we are. But beside that, when the war ceased, Baka and Eli were here. What did they do to help those Zogos? In fact, so what was happening? Our young people were growing into Zogo life. They were getting big Issa. That George we are who say we got to put it to stop. So the government recently just came up with a program along with her partners them to find money.
13 million.
13 million to build a big home to be building in Benton. In fact, they already started the process. The big need for that detoxification to start
the
taking
government
the
the government said will pay 1 million out there.
Yeah, 1 million.
Exactly.
So what people like, oh, John, we are living for. Now let me save these Zogos. They make our children Zogo that John, we are taking them for Zogo life. We talking about that thing, they don't do that.
Those are Zogo easy.
So you see, but talk about the security issue, Jana. Hey man, when Joseph Boakai, I was just checking, when Joseph Boakai earlier here, we had 16,000 police that were here from foreign country then. That they were money on with the only people there. All of them left. But when the people are here, there were a lot of noise around the country. John, we had to own with no army police and army people. He have kept the
thing is that John, we are also as a people, he has a contingency say and then take over. Yeah, please let the people to stay here. Let me 1 year pass.
They said no, because Elise Batafi you go. Because Boga say you go.
So the small people that here,
that's all we are. But guess what? These very people, no opposition making noise. I think it be to the BB network, they go 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. That thing happen to them. So soon the money get taken. They say, oh, the code I said, and that's true. You know, you see the other opposition men out there in lie. He went to go and fire instead. Yeah, you see that? So the people that lie on Joe they play safe. The reason why they actually scary for because they know Joria will be there one round. So they want me to play low, scary. Oh, they play safe. Oh, will be here. Joria will be there again.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
One thing on security.
Yeah.
So since 1990, since the war, this is the very first time for us to manage our own security for the length of time.
Yeah, correct.
And you know what happened? And with a small security we get, you can get no trouble. Besides that protest that opposition organized, the country is very peaceful. Country we've been having peace ever since. They don't have the level of security that we have. Because here, we may not hear anymore. We got money all on the street. We can see harassing them.
Nobody.
We walk up in there, we go home late. Nobody can hammer you.
Some boy in the street of the 3 o'clock in the morning.
But even with all the political tensions that this country has seen from June 7, bring back our 16 billion. I mean, you saw the level the police, played.
Demonstrated.
So we tired suffering or demonstrated.
They were giving them food.
Exhausted water. So there was the issue with security, Jala.
Yeah, they were getting them food.
Yeah.
But again, let me announce Sylvester Pee-wee, who is calling from the States. I will take your calls. But let me just open it to you guys. I hereby declare my membership for the We Are Intellectual.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I want to leave behind these microphones and go to Banner FM, go to Freedom FM,
correct,
other places. Let me talk the way you're talking to. Let me ask me question.
Thank you, Jala. Thank you very much.
I want to take the question to myself.
Thank you, Jala.
Let's take the one small. Sylvester Pee-wee hold the line. Will take it very shortly. Boy, even Gizi on the line. Hey, Azonezobi. Where my Doris? Where my Tupayus? Stevenson, where are you? Where is Paul Ramsey? Where is Kai Fale? This is a bumper show. The biggest platform in the afternoon hour that covers the entire country. Let me pause right and go to talk to the former assistant minister at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs now in the U.S. Mr. Sylvester Pee-wee, you have 1 minute to make your case. Hello and welcome, sir.
Thank you, Jala. Thank you, Jala. Let me say a wonderful good afternoon to a very wonderful panelists you have in the show, resident, very intellectual, inspiring folks. And again, but Jala, let me put it this way: our people there in Liberia today. Let me be frank. I'm on my way. I will be in Jala in the next maybe 10 days or so.
Okay, I'm with you, man.
We will.
What gives you say again? We don't see you.
I will actually be based in Lofa.
Okay.
I'm going back and based in Lofa for the whole campaign thing about our president re-election process. But quick thing about the security you're talking about people. Ever since the president came, the first time in the history we don't even know that the president they all new NSA they can take out our plenty security thing.
The BBC security people.
The president pay a build a new security headquarters for us. Ever since we're renting, the
Yeah.
first time in the history of our country, the president did that.
They already mobile point there.
We went to Ghana, Jara. We went to Ghana for what we call the security sector reform thing. The first government to begin the process, this comprehensive CPA, that the president started our whole security reform process. We started it with the AFL, with building our own AFL, with building our own police. If you went to the police training academy today, our own security reform, in line with that thing we call this comprehensive peace agreement abroad.
Absolutely.
And the president didn't stop there. The first time in the history of our country, ever since we've been having Freeport, there was no headquarters for Freeport. Ever since we've been our own headquarters for Freeport.
In FPRC, nothing that I'll continue the war is that.
FPRC, nothing. Nothing. We have a modern state of the art building now to FPRC. Quickly, before I can go. Ever since we joined Liberia, Lufa begin a country we call country. Gaga Lomangitier.
Oh, Lomangitier, Wanae.
The first time, this time around, the last time that I when I was driving my car to go to Lufa, I was running on our road. The thing that we call 80 miles per hour.
The Kota Road.
On our road. The Kota Road, all the way carrying me into Saraya town before even our district was there. That's something the president doing. And
thank you.
To start the thing, that's something that, and the president not only that we will lead the whole thing. The intellectual thing will do the debate by what people. And that's why I come in. I will sit down in.
Thank you, Mr. Minister, former Minister. Thank you. Yeah, you have the time finished. I gave you 1 minute. Gone 2 minutes. Yalla mampo ya riabo ge asbota 0805140960770560560 086680373 other numbers to call me. Hello, you have 15 seconds to make a case. Where do you call from, sir?
Yeah, Mr. Jara, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Jara, thank you for the show. You know, the party, money, I tell you, I say money, I never will keep my phone. Yeah, I tell you. Yeah, so money.
Oh, money, you mean the thank you program for Joshua, right?
Yeah, the level baby coming outside.
Yeah, that be for my son.
Yeah, the baby I so that's the people there. I some people you were telling, yeah, anything you talking. Everything you lado,
okay. Ovin, they say Ovin. Hello, welcome. The next caller, you there? Are you there? Oh, caller, you there? I'm gonna take another call. Are you on the line? No, let me take the next caller from here. This guy is not ready to talk yet. Hello, welcome. Let me hear you.
Yeah, this is Abu Sherry calling from Bon County.
Abu Sherry from Bon County. Let me hear you. Which other Bon County are you calling from?
From DK Manizum.
Okay. DK Manizum, way behind Siboriwa?
Yeah. Bishop Kapulu.
Okay, let me hear you, my brother.
Really, we appreciate the government, for the president doing well for us. My brother, look at the Emory Hospital. This for our argument to bear. So we'll continue to support this president. My brother, thank very much. Thank you very much, there.
Okay, thank you so much, Abu Sharif. The next caller is here. Let's hear you for the landline. Yes. Please go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, my name is Aziz Zadulu, calling from Bon County or Barshell community.
Okay, let's hear from Bon County.
Yeah, I want to give a hand of applause to your studio girls.
Okay.
Quickly to the security sector. Now, as I speak to you, I am praying. Now I'm speaking to you. I'm praying for 10 o'clock to reach. Let me go on the street of Banga to leave there on the 4 o'clock. Now we are in Banga. We are safe. No energy is hammering now in Banga. I tell the president, thank you that he is taking care of our country, and he will return.
Okay.
He will be there until he will return.
Thank you. Let me take the next caller. Welcome. What's your name? Where do you call from?
How are you doing, Mr. Jala? First, we are calling you from Foya District to be specific.
Foya District in Lofa County, you mean?
Yeah, my name is Ceebee, and I want to applaud the studio guests there in studio now, and I want to say bravo to all of you that are making contribution to making sure that this government, this president, what he is doing for the people of Liberia. As we speak now, the government we're talking about, the light pole. Today, in Foya District, they have started planting the light pole.
Wow. From the local dam, they have the light pole now?
As we speak now, and just now that's the 1847. This is one of these kind of today infrastructure district that we can need both of life.
Thank you, Steven. Thank you. We don't have the time. No loss of time. Let me take one more call because the next program comes on very shortly. You have 10 seconds to make your case, and I'll go to the panelists to make that conversation just in 30 seconds each. Hello, welcome. Oh, from Kolahu. Welcome from Kolahu.
Yeah, Mr. Gerard, I'm very happy to hear from the institution that, during the importance of contribution that the president is making to the country, to the country, really to fear we can understand the problem. The past 2017, we never understand the occasional tradition, but we see the contribution that the president is making in Europa. We will not be stupid this time around. We're going to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And then the guy who is the head of the Motorcyclists Union, he walked here to me earlier today. He interacted with me and Johnson. He said, the endorsement from the guys who said they are motorcyclists, who gave something to Joseph Walker, they are not motorcyclists. We are the one. The guy brought me forms. I saw over 40 forms. Each of the forms have 25 names or numbers. 40 forms. He displayed that before you, Mr. Right? Sure. In his compound.
Sure.
I will bring it here next week. They'll be on Monday or Tuesday. They'll be here on Tuesday and talk about the contribution to Joshua's re-election. He was trying to call me right now. I don't know. The guys are up. I don't have the time. But let me just end with you guys. Let me come with Mr. Thomas. I see you. He closes up with just 30 seconds as you go.
Okay, thank you, Jala. I just want to focus on the callers.
Mm-hmm.
What you just listened to from those two counties was what we started the show with. The people are no longer naive as it relates to this tribal politics. The people are focused on what is seen, the tangibles. I listened to Senator Johnson when he talked to people in Nimba, and he was saying that the president has done the road that you see here, so they're not the man who did it.
Can you imagine
that?
He was the same, what a brother like you don't know how to see.
But he was the same person who went with the president.
And to the president, thank you, the job we are.
So it just shows you the level of deception. They have done nothing, and President we have been re-elected come October 10, 2020.
Let me have a nigga.
So just fast.
Yeah.
I live in a village. Prior to 3 months ago, I was spending $1,200 every month on gasoline to run generator.
Wow.
Today I'm spending $200 every month on LEC. I'm saving $1,000 every month.
Wow. That's a significant break.
So the people at Tinga Village are very excited to re-elect President George Weah.
Mr. Johnson?
And I live in brother interested in the main route that wants to go to Bomi and Cape Man just caught it. You know what happened? The only road available now for constituting that place is the Banjo Road that President Weah paid. If you travel there, that's the only detour people use it. So I was asking the guy in the KK, I said, why if George Weah had that built this road and we're in the rainy season, the people of Banjo are happy? We are saying to our people, focus on development. That is what we need to move this country.
Thank you. And I will say this to you. Everywhere I came from Foya, we said we don't pass through, because we pass through Sierra Leone to Calahun to Bo. From Bo Waterside on our side. All the major towns you see along the route from Bo Waterside to Broadville. The big chapel name. Clay. You have lights, and the children were there up to 11 o'clock. It is windy. The children were sitting outside. As some places go to no rain, they sitting outside. They play at now in the night. I said, how can these people tell us that they will not vote for George Weah? They will have a promise over development.
You can do that.
They can be kidding us for that. Thanks. That's our goal this afternoon. I'm the son of a warrior from Lofa County. My name is Zubawama. Or you coming nearly one to go. Or you say, my other name that. Kiang Malakpili is a trap paper bag. A small bargain carried. On a rainy day, it's how to carry. On a dressing day, how to carry. Because when you put it in your head during the rainy season, the water will come out, you get black. But when you put it in your head during the dressing day again, the heat can be for fun. So So no small boy can carry me. That's the ministry of the man called Jala Greyfield. Jala Greyfield, chapter 1, verse 1. Let's talk and never shall we fight. Have a good day for Liberia. I'll see you when you see me again.